find out it would be very interesting to see what the situation is like now. I was talking to somebody else recently about the state race people, the African Americans who went to the Caribbean after abolition. Some went to, I believe they went to Cuba also. No, not Cuba, they went to Dominica, but also to Trinidad. And there is a community on the south coast of Trinidad of people of African American descent who just didn't want to stay during Reconstruction, and they left, and their descendants are still there too. So, okay, but what I would like to get on with today is session 6, if I can find that. Here we are, page 35. Oh, okay, page 37. What we're really doing from now on is review. We've already had practically all of the grammar necessary to understand stuff. And it's going to be review and little bits of culture and history, especially recipes, and texts, reading texts, stories. But the recipes are also texts, so it's all practice. And what you have to work on is learning pronunciation, first of all. Secondly, that words that mean one thing in English and look like English may not mean the same thing in Seminole. So don't make the mistake of thinking you're using the word in Seminole the way it is used in English. Thirdly, there's a whole bunch of words which are not English at all. So all of that needs working on, and I will emphasize yet again that the deeper you speak Afro-Seminole Creole, the less likely you are to confuse it with English. There's a strong tendency with all Creole languages, if you don't speak them very well and you're looking for the word, you look for the input language, the English word, because you don't readily recollect the Creole word. Okay, quickly going over the grammar, we've got this word de, and that raises yet another point, which is spelling. It's spelled here D-U-H, which looks like da, but it sounds a bit more like duh, more than da. So say duh, and the first one, you got several words that sound the same, but they're not the same word. They just happen to sound the same. So the first one is what you put in front of a verb if you are doing it right now, or you do it some of the time, not necessarily right now. So, ada wear mi yellow cap. I am wearing my yellow cap. Either right now, it's on your head right now, or it's something you like to do all the time. You may not be doing it right now, but it's something you like to do. Ada wear. And notice that, like a lot of words, it can get abbreviated if there's a vowel following, and this common expression wa de el hana, wa da el hana. What is bothering you? And then it's abbreviated again with the N word, which is one of its meanings is the future. You could simply translate it as will. And when "the" follows N, the future N, it loses the D sound. So instead of N, "the," which you could say, but you didn't hear that, you'd say "ena." Winnie ena tapia. Winnie is going to be staying here. It's not the same as Winnie en tapia. Winnie will stay here. This is Winnie will be staying here. Okay, Joe Binna, same with the past tense, Joe Binna traveled. Not Joe Bin traveled would mean he traveled, but Joe Binna traveled, Joe was traveling. The next important "the" means to be when you're identifying something. Him, "the," my friend. He is my friend. And once again, you get the same contractions. Him bin "the," me friend. Him binna, me friend. He was my friend. And wa, "the," him. The grammatical point, him, although in English it would be the object case of the third person masculine pronoun. In Creole grammar, you don't have gender distinction. So him not only means him, but it also means her or it. So what the him means what is it. The by itself means it is, there are. And the example down below, Nama the tree wheel pamika. Nama means only. If you have to know where that word comes from, it's from no more. But try not to think in those terms. Just learn that nama means only. Nama da, only is, only are 3 wheels upon my car. The Willie Veduam. It is Willie who did it. Remember that the verb by itself, here it is do, refers to the past most of the time. So it doesn't mean does it, because if you want to say it's Willie doing it, you'd have to say the Willie way did do them. It means did. It's Willie way do them, who did it. The future is MB. So this really belongs a bit further up. But if I wanted to say Willie is going to be, future, going to be my friend, I would say Willie MB, my friend. And here is an example of that. I am be her best friend, sugar. I am going to be your best friend, sugar. And here's the past tense, the complete past tense. Skip done be one different man. Skip had become a different man. We talked about done. Done means something's completed. It's not past tense. In English, we generally think of done as something over with in the past. But even in English, you can put done into the future. Think about saying, when will you be done? And it's same here. So done be means had been or had finished being. He had become a different man. And this the, meaning it is, you can put in front of lots of question words, especially if you're being forceful in your speech. You can say, we say de, where is it? There's that de, meaning locate. But the da in the front means it is where. Where is it? It is, it be. And it's just a way of making it more emphatic. Da what time Hanawan left? It is what time y'all want to leave. Da who have impounded me? It is who spoiled my name, who trashed me. Okay, the last da is a preposition to or at. Then we traveled the zona last week. They traveled to Ozona last week. Ozona is a little town. Incidentally, I want to stop and express my profound sadness and regrets about what happened in Uvalde, just down the road from Brackett. And it was so horrible, and I just had to mention that. Okay. Sari did the market the by Bitte. Sari B exist at the market buying buying food. Bitte is food. So Sarah is at the market buying food. Compare that with slightly different use of comparing the use of da with fa. Remember, fa in front of verbs means to. So for buy means to buy. So if I say Sari did a market to buy Bitte, Sari is at the market buying food. But if I say Sari did the market fa buy Bitte, that means Sarah is at the market in order to buy food, not buying food, but to buy food, in order to buy food. Slight, subtle difference there. I also stuck in this about come. Come, of course, means come, as it does in English, but you can also use it to show some kind of, it's a difficult thing to describe grammatically, semantically, but if you think of aggressiveness or forcefulness, you can stick it in to emphasize your point. And the examples I've got here, somebody shows up, you're in your backyard and somebody shows up and says, what are you doing here? And you turn around and you say, Hana, the turn up, the kamaksmid, the wara dipan imiwunya yasu. You are standing up there, turn up de, standing there, kamaksmi, asking me. It doesn't mean you came and asked me, although you presumably did, but it means more than you came up and asked me. It just means you're pretty much in my face. Kamaksbi, the wara dipan, war is short for wara, which is another word for what. The wara, it is what I dipan, I am up to, I am doing in my own yard, yaso, right here. And you can use it twice. Mek is short for wamek, and it means why. Mek hana bin come ya des me. Why did you come here simply to bother me? Okay, so that's part of it too. Moving on to texts, here is a recipe. Safki and toli, these are two basic Seminole dishes. Safki is from the First Nation side, a reminder that I prefer to call indigenous peoples First Nations rather than Native Americans. There was no America. until Europeans showed up. But anyway, the sufki is a First Nations dish. Creek, of course, which is the big one for Black Seminoles, but many other First Nations peoples also have sufki, and it's a corn-based thing, and so is toli, and that is another Creek word. And here is the recipe, and there's a picture of a couple of Seminole ladies making sufki in a mata. Mata is the wooden mortar. All right, so the recipe starts. Nobody, no day, there's nobody. We don't know about sufki. We doesn't know about sufki. He can eat anytime. Now, this is interesting because we've got eat, which normally, in English anyway, is a transitive verb. In other words, you've got to eat something. But here, it's also transitive. You can eat sufki, but it's also, it means it can be eaten at any time. You can eat also means it can be eaten anytime. Be good for Hana breakfast. In Christmas without him, not a proper Christmas. And again, excuse my horrible pronunciation. So it is good for y'all's breakfast, and Christmas without it, nada, is not a proper Christmas. Obin Wewoka, over in Wewoka, which is a Black Seminole or Freeman town in Oklahoma, Hana and Fancy, even selling in the grocery store, you will find that, and there's this important grammar word se. You could translate it as that after verbs. You're going to find that he even sell in the grocery store. And there is one more example of sell, which is the same as when we just looked at eat. It means be sold. It doesn't just mean to sell, but it also means to be sold. So he even sell in the grocery store. It is even sold in the grocery store. Seminole folk can set them piggy on top of the stove along with salvin spoon to give whosoever one come by for set and tell howdy. So Seminole people can set their pots, pingi is pot, African word, on top of the stove along with a serving spoon to give whosoever, means whoever, one come by, whoever wants to come by for set and tell howdy, to come and visit. Some people want to call them the Seminole national dish. Sufki, the kind of a bitter, we come from the Indian part of history. Sufki, the Creek word, and call them osafke. In the Creek language, it's called osafke. In Darabil, and that food done spread all over the South. So not a we no more. It's not only us, I'm speaking as a Seminole, excuse me. But it's not only us Seminoles. We, the Ito, who eat it. The Cherokee and the Kwasate and the Chickasaw and the Choctaw, they all eat it too. So it really spread far throughout the South, Southwest. Okay, recipe itself. For makeup, protect enough of the white kind of cracked corn and soak them good overnight in hana pingi, so till the next day done clean. A few things here. to make it, you f. Now, f, remember, in front of a verb means to, but it can also mean must. So, hana for tech, you must take. Enough of the white kind of crack cone. Enough. Now, enough generally doesn't translate as enough. It means plenty of it. It can mean enough, a sufficiency, but it can also simply mean a lot of. You could say, enough people did it. It doesn't mean enough people, it means a whole lot of people. So, take enough of the white kind of crack cone. That's which kind of cone you're gonna take. And soak them good overnight in pingi in your pot, in water in your pot overnight, so till the next day. So till just means until the next day done clean. Now, for a day to become clean, it means that the sun's come up and it's light again. So the dark night is now bright and the day is clean. So in one sense, the nighttime is seen as the day that is sleeping or covered up, but it's still the day. All right. Must pit lily lie in the water to make it turn sourish lily bit. You have to put, pit is put, lily lie, and I think lie came up in our last session. It's that nasty caustic soda that people use now to clean out their drains. Some people use it to straighten their hair. It's horrible stuff because it will burn your skin. But you put a little in the water to make it turn sourish. So you're giving a slight flavor to the water in which the crack corn is soaking overnight. Today, I can go buy the lye from the store. Caustic soda, that is same thing. But before, in other words, long ago, instead of that, the old folks, been soak ashes from the fire and use that water there. Because in fact, this is the way people would extract lye by burning wood and soaking the ashes, boiling up the ashes, and then straining it out and boiling it down, and you're going to get soda. And that's how people did it. Similar process was used to make soap back in those days. Okay. Tikya, hana na chue da stobot life for hana kid. Be careful, tikya. Be careful, hana na chue. You don't throw away or spill or splash that stobot lie. Now, stobot means you didn't make it yourself, you got it in the shop. Han hana kin. Don't spill that store-bought lye on your skin. In bun hana good and left some powerful web there. It's gonna really burn your skin and leave some powerful web. Webs are like marks on your skin. Next thing for do, the for drain off the water and wrench on good and put some more clean water there. Boil them for about 10 good minutes over fire. The next thing to do is to drain off that water and rinse the cracked corn really well, and then put some more clean water into the same pot over the corn and boil it for 10 minutes. And then ate down cool, drain off the water and put the corn in the one in one mortar and grind them good so they done most ton of kush. After it has cooled, drain off the water and put the corn in a mortar and mash it, grind it well until it's just about turned into mush, mush. Kosish one, mine. Now that's important because if you mash it too much, it's going to become really, really smooth and fine. Don't go that far. You've got to have a little graininess in there, a little coarseness. So kosish means it's got some feel to it. It's not smooth. Though some people that tawa for the smooth kind, although some people tawa. Tawa means greedy, but here it's a verb meaning to be greedy. Although some people are greedy for the smooth kind, they like their they like it really smooth, not with some texture. And some Yara people again, and some other people again, to fix them more looser yet and to take them like a drink. And some other people again fix it even more loosely, more waterish, and take it. The tech doesn't mean they're doing it right now. It means they habitually take it as a drink, and that's what the picture showed. They were making it as a drink. Okay, take daramash and warm them up and throw black pepper and a tip of salt if no one for eat them sweet. Take that mashed up corn and warm it up and throw in some black pepper and a tip of salt, a little bit of salt. If you don't want to eat it sweet. If you don't want them sweet, throw a little cinnamon and sugar on top of them, or try them along with syrup. That sweet kind tans up, same like a what them call toli, except for that, on a fatat with the fili, and now with the cracked corn. So fili is another kind of corn. If you want to make toli, you've got to use something else. But let's look at this word sweet. It does mean sweet in the sense of sugary, but it also just means tasty. So something that is quite savory, not sugary at all, is still sweet. It just means tasty. Okay, any questions at this point? Look at Phil, he's falling asleep. No questions? All right. The text. This is the text we had before. It is the story that Dove Warrior told. It's somewhat Englishified, but it's pretty good nevertheless. All of we are dead one day. All of us will die one day. And it's what it's supposed to represent is a speech at a funeral. And so here's the guy giving the speech, and he says, good evening, how hunna to do. I hope say hunna to do fine. I to do all right. Now, I just come here this evening to see how hunna to do and for pay me respect to the dead. Dara, the corpse, told me friend Silas Hall, and he did. Yeah, he did. You know he been for dead. He should have been dead by now. Now, no laugh. And notice, and I make a point of this somewhere in the little book, quite a lot of the pronunciations in Seminole, because the input was from British sailors and others, have a British sound to them. So it's not laugh, but laugh. Na laugh, Hunna and die too. Hunna and dead one of these days. See the man right there? He the dead. If you don't believe me, go over there and juke him. Juke, of course, means shake him. In that turn up, he's not going to stand up. In that holler, he's not going to shout. In that say nothing, he's not going to say anything. Hunna going dead too. There is an example of the long form of the future word N, which is Gwen. And you can see where the word comes from out of that because it's from going to. You're going to be dead too. Sister Phyllis, the one thing I want to know, I want to know, the we say you've been get that old deep bed out there from? Where did you get that old deep bed from? This seems to have nothing to do with the funeral. It's just tagged on at the end, I'm realizing. Your bed so deep, it's just like a man fully down in the grave. You have to turn up for turn over, you know. It's a joke, right? The bed is so narrow and deep that if you want to turn over in it, you've got to stand up first. Anyway, early Seminole humor. Let's skip past the jealous king. Say a little bit about the word Seminole. Although people still tend to think that the word Seminole applies only to Florida and only to First Nations, the word actually was applied first to Africans, then got generalized to the point where today people think it refers to a tribe. Historically, it's not a tribe at all. It's a word that means escapees or fugitives. And I did put a little chart there. Scroll down a little bit. Yeah. It is an original First Nations word. The Arawaks, the Caribbean peoples had this word Cimarron. Spanish picked it up as Cimarron. The Creeks copied the Spanish word Cimarroni, but got the L's and the R's mixed up. So we've got Simanoli. And then this chart has come out wrong. So ignore these arrows. The fact is the word Seminole and Cimarron and Maroon, they're all related words. Moving on down, Winley talked about this last time, the native words in the language is a lot. When I first went to Brackett, there were people who used some Indian First Nations words and phrases, and I wrote them down, but I have not been able to identify which language. Apparently not Creek, not Biloxi, not any of the languages in the area. But I'll track it down. These words can be identified eventually. But the Creeks are the most important element in Seminole history, Black Seminole history. And so what I did on page 43 there was list a number of sources. And then in this final version, this is the version that you can print out and save, staple it up. I put a bibliography at the back. And so for some of you, you folks over in Florida, especially, who are also interested in the First Nations side of African-American history, there's a bunch of sources that might be useful if you don't have them already. And here I mentioned black drink. Black drink was what the warriors would drink to get their strength and courage up before going into battle. Um, it's called black drink because of the way it's made and what it looks like, but it is an infusion of the berries of a yopon tree, which grows all over the place. You can find it all over. There's a picture of it. There's the berries. You'll recognize that. You crush them up, boil them down, and you get this dark, dark drink, which in Creek is called asi. And that word asi, which is also part of ASC, is the first part of Asiola's name, because Asiola, the name means black drink singer. And here's how you do it. You just boil it down and it becomes dark and bitter. And you can add other stuff to help you throw it up, because it really isn't wise to keep it inside your body. So pokeweed, which is another vegetable that I think there's a recipe in here for pokeweed. But if you put that in there, it will help you throw it up, not keep it in your body, because it has a very, very high caffeine content, and it can affect your blood pressure. Here's a picture that Sister Sarah sent with some faces and names identified. Thank you for that, Sarah. Send us more stuff. Oh, and then I say down here, you can buy yopon tea, a very diluted version of black drink, in health food stores. Okay, how are we doing for time? I'm not sure what the time is right now.
We're at about 45 minutes right now.
Okay, good, good. Okay, so scroll on down. Let's skip the Spanish, except to let me make one comment that because Spanish has been around ASC from the beginning, first of all, of course, in Florida, but then in Mexico and now in Texas, lots of Spanish words show up. They can be brought in at any time, just like English words now can be brought in at any time. But here are a number of words that have been solid into the language. Cuaja, cuaja is a good one. It means to make cheese, and to make cheese out of sour milk and so on. Scroll on down. Keep going. Here's another recipe, and this is now a really central Black Seminole dish, terapun, which is sweet potato pudding, and this is the recipe. For the terapun, hana and half a tek. Okay, hana n, that's the abbreviation of N. Hana n hafa means N half for are going to have to take. Sweet potato, either yams. So you got a choice right there. You can use sweet potatoes or you can use yams. About 3 pounds. Skin them and grate them good. Skin it and grate it. Grate up means to grate. And you'll notice that instead of greater it's greater That's because greater ends in that vowel so the gets an R stuck on. So kiram and greater and good. Skin it and grate it well. Next thing you need, this is the list of ingredients. Hen egg. Hen egg, two of them. Hen egg is chicken egg because other eggs were available besides chicken eggs to the Seminoles where they live. So hen egg specifies chicken eggs. And you need two of them. Comino, cominas, just one lilipun. So comino, although that's a mistake there because the Seminole word, as I was taught it, was cominas, not comino. So that's my bad right there. Cominas, this one lilipun, just a tiny spoonful of comino. Vanilla is vanilla essence. One lilipun, just a little tiny spoonful of that. Salt, just salt. Tiny bit of salt. Butter, quart cup. Butter is butter and a quarter of a cup of butter. And then you can put brown sugar or molasses, quart cup. You can have brown sugar or molasses. I prefer molasses. Just a quarter of a cup, and then some shortening. Half a cup of shortening. Everything for going on a ping. Everything must go in your pot, all knack up together. So you beat it all together. Get the oven good and hot, 350 degrees. Notice that it's oven and not oven. Why see the hot? While it is getting hot, take one baking pan and grease them good all inside. Take a baking pan and grease it well all inside. Then pour the batter. Batter means batter when you're cooking the batter you use to fix. Pour the batter all inside there, but not kibaron. Pour the batter, which is all this stuff, inside there, but don't cover it up. Put them in the oven for about half hour. Test them with knife the way you know how to do. Now, what that means is those of you who cook, make cakes and so on, you know that when you think it's ready and it's done, you can stick a knife into the cake or the cornbread or whatever it is. And if it comes out clean without stuff sticking on it, and then it's ready. So test it to make sure it's done. That's just what that means. And if you're done ready, take out the pan, lay it cool, and share them along with a friend there. And if it has become ready, take out the pan, let it cool down, and share it along with, together with, a friend them, your friends. And that's terapu. All right, here is this long story, which I think is going to take us to the end of today. And we've done it before, I believe, but there's no harm in doing it again, because repetition is how you're going to learn this language. How Skip done lost his soul to the devil, here's a one woman. How Skip lost his soul to the devil because of one woman. From the first time that the woman named Fiba been come for live in the house, we dare cross the street, get a corner to your own, Skip in there's the hanker after him bad. All right, from the very first time that the woman named Fiba, that's an African name, came to live in the house, which was across the street from his own. Now, Kitakona, you probably know the word already. It means diagonally opposite. So there's this woman moved in across the street from Skip. And when Skip checked her out, he would just a hunker out of bad. He was just owning for her really badly. When I knew how he stand when a young man that lived that bachelor life and he'd feel he sucked the rice, you know what it's like, how he stand when a young man that lived that bachelor life and he'd feel he sucked the rice, he's horny. Well, that feeling where the move skip until he can't do nothing more accusing for thinking about fever. Night and day, no matter fever we dip on in mind. All day he just to sit down along the window that spy upon the house across the way. And he hope for see fever come out the door so he could catch him and look at him. I'm not translating all of this because you ought to be understanding this by this time. If there's anything that you want to question, stop me. But the whole night, the so he do, so till he plumb wore out. But even though our bed been dead for the down, now there's a good construction. Even though a bed been dead for the down, even though a bed was there been dead for he lay down. Now in English, you would have to say, put a to in there, for him to lie down in. You don't need that in ASC. For he lay down means for him to lay down in. Still he couldn't scarcely catch no sleep. His mind been just defastened from fever. Can't get over this woman who moved in. The next morning, he get out of bed and go sit down again to the window for try catch a look from the woman. And I have to ask, you gotta ask, the what makes Skip not go him one for talk to fever? You have to ask, what is it that the what make Skip not go him one, not go himself for talk to fever? Well, this your fever can get her own man. She had her own boyfriend, a carpenter, one named Huckless, some kind of a big ugly dude. We're not fed of no one. We could look anybody straight in the eye and threaten them for even look from fever out of the corner in the eye. All right. She had her own boyfriend, a carpenter who was named Huckless, some sort of big old ugly dude who was not scared of anybody, who could look at anybody straight in the eye and threaten him for even looking at Fiba, even out of the corner of his eye, even glance at Fiba. Disha Huckless, the one giant, and the bad repetition will make Skip scared for calling out. This here Huckless was a giant, and it is his bad reputation that makes Skip scared to call him out. Fiba will tell all his friend them, say, even though me man, the one nasty man, I know what side of me bread get the butter. Auntie the Huck will build a house where I live. And I want to tell her, say, Fiba not ever notice, say, Skip want him. And I don't want to say he wouldn't go across the road to Skip house if he be ever get the chance, but he not able forget say he man too jealous. Somebody wouldn't wait 2 seconds before he would take out the carpenter tool them for hut anyone with this look funny woman. Question? Okay. All right. Scroll down a little bit. The fact is that Skip is terrified of Huckless, and that's what's stopping him from getting next to Phoeba. He even tell Phoeba, Isef say, he would have killed him if he ever think about he going cross over the treat. This your Huckless, no love, nobody in the round world, choosing for Phoeba, and he no love for do nothing talking except for Bill House. Okay, so he's not too bright. All he likes to do is love on Phoeba and build houses. He's a carpenter. Well then, Skip, not a coward. He's not a coward. But same time, so he's not stupid neither. He's not stupid either. On this particular day, we're gonna sit down to a window to peek through the curtain. You see Phoeba before your house, the mining garden. On this particular day, when he was sitting by his window, peeking through the curtain at Phoeba, he saw her out front of her house looking after her little garden. He looked too fine in a tight dress when he bent over for 10 toy flower. Phoeba looked really good looking in her tight dress when she was bending over to look after her flower, tend to her flowers.
Hey, Dr. Ian.
Yeah.
There was a question about the third paragraph, the line about Huckless building his house. I think it's on page 46, so it's 1, 2, 3, the fourth full paragraph, the last line. Does he a Huckless no lib no berry? Was that it, Nikki?
Oh, okay, down here. All right. This your Huckless, no love nobody in the round world, choosing for Phoeba, and he no love for do nothing tall again, except for Bill House. All right, word for word. This here Huckless does not love anybody in the whole round world except for accusing for Phoeba, and he no love for do nothing tall again, and he doesn't like to do anything else again except building houses. So he had a very narrow world that he lived in. It was Phoeba and his job. That cleared up? Okay. So he's looking at her, fixing her little garden, and what for do? What for do? What to do? He studied a watch like this. Now, study, we had this word, it's another grammar word, but if you study to do something, it means that you are consistently doing it. So he studied the watch like this. Laka is like. He studied the watch like this until he did half a hollow. Wow. He consistently was watching her like this until he just had to shout out, wow. He's talking to himself now. I ready for sell me soul to the devil if he could give me even a half hour. Me and Fiba, this we do together. I am ready to sell my soul to the devil if he could give me even just a half an hour. Me and Fiba, just we two together. And no sooner he done say this, yet kapag. No sooner had he said this, he heard kapag, and the floor broke open and smoke been there everywhere. And the floor broke open and smoke was there everywhere. And Skip kinda shocked to death. And Skip just stood there, shot to death. As he turned his head, so who did he see but Satan? That the devil himself would have turned up before him in his room. Who should he see but Satan? It was the devil himself standing in front of him in his room. Skip holler. What hunter to do in my house, ya so? Do, go long from ya. I don't want nothing for do long hunter. Me the one clean Christian man. Okay. The what hunter to do? It is what you are doing in my house, ya so. In my house here, thus. Do, go long from here. Go away from here. I don't want nothing for do long, hunter. Now, long here means with. I don't want nothing for do long, hunter. I don't want anything to do with you. Me, the one clean Christian man. And he says that because it's the devil. Satan tell him, say, the joke, hunter, the joke, innit? And then this yeti hunter that beg me for change hunter soul, for give hunter a little time for spend on fever. I didn't just hear you, the begging me for change hunter soul. What change is in there? Let's say it's buy hunter soul, take your soul. For I give hunter a little time for spend on fever. For I to give you a little time to spend with Fiba. Skip scared for true. He most paralytic from scared. Skip was really scared. He most paralytic. He was almost paralyzed from scared, from fear. Because he don't begin to see what kind of trouble he dip on. And he tell the devil again, say, "Hunter the one lying liar, I never say nothing like that." But the devil just looked from poor Skip and he gave him an answer, say, "Let me tell Hunter one natural thing, I never the lie." So the devil says, "Don't accuse me of lying, I never lie." Skip then tell him, "But none of the play we have been a play, but it was only playing that I was playing." This contraction is common in Creoles, and you can emphasize something by kind of saying it twice by moving part of it up to the front of the sentence. So instead of just saying I was playing, you can actually say it was a play I was playing. It was a song I was singing. It just makes it more emphatic. So Skip says, "But none of the play we have been a play." And the devil tell him again, say, "Let me tell her one more thing again. Me, I never the play neither." So the devil said, "First of all, I never lie. And second of all, I never play." I'm deadly serious. Then Skip begin to cry. Me mama been raised me good. He teach me to respect God, but see the trouble where they ail me now. The devil just look on Skip and tell him, say, "I don't catch enough of people say we like a hunter. I caught so many people, enough of people, just in the same way that I caught you. Hunter, human being, hunter, weak. Y'all humans are just weak." Then he suck his teeth and he say, "I done too very for waste time long with hunter. Let's go on and give me hunter soul right now." Sucking the teeth, then he sucky teeth. It's an expression of contempt. You find it everywhere. Loud sucking noise really conveys a sense of contempt. And the devil's tired of listening to these silly excuses. And so he says, go on and just give me a soul right now. Get ready for die for that giddish. Giddish means nervous. You've been tied up in the corner that shake like a leaf. Cause Satan been lift up a cat nine tail whip. We crack smart whack. And I want to let her know this shall whip. Then I make them make out a string. Then they make them out a sneak. And the nine sneak then been a twist and turn ready for bite for Skip. That at the time when Skip side for let the devil do anything who I want. He tell him, say, okay, Satan, I give you my soul. Said how I know say, and I go and keep on our own part of the bargain. All right, so Skip saying, I will do what you want, but how will I know that you'll keep your part of the bargain? Scarcely say that, yet he kong on the door. Satan say, go look who that did turn up the hunter door. Go look who's banging on your door. The fibber, it's fibber. The gal look on Skip, he smile one sweet smile upon him. He make your body so, and he asks him, say, for Skip, Hannah can do me one thing. Hannah could come over to my own house for let me spend your time together, just we two. Sooner the gal left, Satan look on Skip and tell him, for he huffily down, cross the cheer for lay flogger. So, girl shows up, invites Skip over, and as soon as she goes back to her house, Satan looks at Skip and says, okay, I did my half. Now, lie over the chair because I have to flog you. As Skip makes so, as Skip did that, the devil tell him, once I down flog her 3 times, that 3rd time her soul and blood to me, and her going to get everything what her want, including that fine sis feeble we are. Once I have done flogging you 3 times, that 3rd time your soul will belong to me, and you are going to have everything that you want, including that fine sister Phoebe. Now, Skip the one happy man and tell the devil, say, Hannah Yeti, when he asked me to go to the house for let me spend a half hour together, make her to waste time, flog me now. Me no want for waste time from talk. So he's all anxious. He says, get on with it, flog me. Let me get across the street. The devil say, all right, but when I do flog Hannah, enough for call out Nera holy name. Do that and everything will stop and be same like how you've been day before. So the devil said, all right, I will be flogging you. But while I'm flogging you, you must never call out a single holy name, because if you do, everything will stop and everything will go back to the way it was before. So Skip said, yeah, I agree to that. Then Satan heist up the whip, and he Skip one heavy lash. Aye, he feel to Skip like every sneak been a bite him all to once. He holler, ow, son of a bitch. Satan lash him again, good fashion. Skip holler, damn. But the 3rd lash with Satan been lash him, Skip couldn't help himself, and he holler, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, which of course is holy names. All to once, Satan done gone. Skip turn up, he look all around him, he said it flow no broke, no smoke, no been there anyway, everywhere. He stand like the devil, not even been dead it. Since that time, Skip done be one different man. You know what, for talk to nobody no more. Even there's the trips up and down the street like a ghost. But even everybody feared for they close to him, the gal fever been still walking. Is that he fix where the devil been fix him. Fix meaning a spell. he tell one of his friend them say, one day when Huckle's nubbin day in town, he called Skip for come spend your time to him, but Skip been done turned to something like a dead person. And I say one word, he not do nothing. That day, everything done twixt Fever and Skip. That is the end of the story. We still have an audience?
Yes, we're still here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's it for today. We are winding down, and I'm wondering how we are going to do that. Should there be an exam
Yeah.
with grades and people writing their own little essays and what have you?
Oh, wow.
And I also think that we should say a little bit more about Seminole Day in the fall. Um, we are not going to be there, Wendy, for Juneteenth for a couple of reasons, but absolutely we will be there for Seminole Day. But we had talked a little bit about getting there some days earlier and maybe having some face-to-face sessions, which is fine, except that there's some logistics involved. Overall accommodation, which would be maybe renting a block at the fort, and then eating and everything else. So if that's going to happen, we really got to start thinking about it soon.
Yeah, I agree. And especially because, I don't know what accommodations will look like come September. Because right now the hotel is basically booked with DPS troopers.
Right.
So accommodations are tough to come by right now.
The earlier you book, like if we're booking now for September, we may have a chance. The alternative, which I've done before, is we stay in Del Rio and just drive up. It's not that far away. And we get a motel and just drive up to Brackett. Or
So
all of us could sleep on your living room floor.
I know that's the last the last resort. But the idea would be a week of ASC ahead of Seminole Day. So would that mean the last day would be that Friday? So basically from Friday to Friday, the week ahead?
Well, ideally, yeah.
Okay.
In actuality, people may not have a whole week available in there.
And that's the other, yeah.
Yeah. I think what we should consider, and the final decision is yours, of course, but why don't we just get there a couple of days early and have a little mini session?
Yeah, and maybe see how that goes. And then we can plan for.
And if enough people show up, and I would love for some of the Gullah Geechee folk to come over, some of the Oklahoma people to come down. And if it looks like it's got some traction, then next year, people may be even more inclined to participate and spend money and time to come all the way to Brackett. So a more modest,
like a soft start, and then kind of see how it goes from there. Yeah.
soft start. Is Amadou out there?
I don't think I saw him.
Oh,
No.
That's terrible. I was hoping that he would have some of the Gullah Geechee folks where he is at now might have been looking over his shoulder and see what we're doing here. But I guess not. But I'm gonna send this out. It's been recorded. I'm gonna send it
Yes.
so it can still happen. All right.
I do have a question. There was a week, we just spent a week doing sort of a symposium with the folks from Nacimiento. And there was a day when they talked about the songs
Mhm.
that, they traditionally sing. Something that I think is interesting is that I think we sing very different songs from what they sing. Their songs, I would say, are sort of, like they have the Happy New Year song. They sing songs about when someone's passed away. My mother's dead and gone. I just saw a video from 1991 that featured Miss Charles and Dub Warrior. And they sing a song at the end that was more of like a traditional hymnal.
Mhm.
Did you have any experience with them singing any of these more, the songs that are more traditional found in Nacimiento? Because I haven't really ever heard them sing anything other than like the traditional like Baptist sort of hymns that you hear in church.
Well, I mean, you've got a Christian element
Mhm.
that accounts for gospel and so on. But you also have the indigenous element, which doesn't translate into singing so much as chanting.
Yeah.
And there's the stomp, which comes later on when people are really getting into the Holy Spirit and everything,
Mhm.
go outside of the church and go around outside the church. And then it becomes very Creek oriented.
Okay.
But I don't think that's anything you could text, you could only describe, because it doesn't have words exactly. So
Okay.
I don't know, but some of the old folks really you have to be talking to the oldest people in the community who are
Yeah.
still with us for that information. I'm the last
Okay.
person to ask about that, but talk to the old folks.
Yeah, will do.
All right, well, another session.
I had a question really quickly, and I don't know if this is like the time to ask it. But just because Wendy mentioned songs, and I saw the one, all of the videos, in fact, that Wendy's referencing started with the "This May Be the Last Time" song, which is like sung to the tune of what I've only ever heard before I started studying, like Afro-Seminole Creole, as "Wade in the Water," but it's like a similar or the same tune. And I was just wondering, is that specifically in reference to escaping? Like this may be the last time. Do we know? Is that something that we know? Like, is it in reference to people escaping and saying this may be the last time I see you, this may be the last time I'm here? Or is it in a religious sense, like this may be the last time because God can take us at any day? I don't remember where I heard that it was the first, but I've never been able to find anything confirming that.
That sort of became a pop song too. This may,
Hey Little Walter.
but that's a good.
Wow, you're good, Gabriel.
I used to be a big Tony Tenay fan when I was a kid.
I don't know whether that refers to we've got to split up to get out of here and survive, and so this may be the last time that I see you, my mother, my father, my brother, and maybe we'll meet at some future time. Or this may be the last time we have a chance at life because if they catch us, they're going to kill us. I don't know. I'm not in a position to say. There are various possibilities with that, but this may be the last time. Obviously is more of a state race song.
Right. And it's in English, right? Not
Right.
Creole.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know I'm not saying they don't exist, but I don't know of any songs in Seminole.
Okay.
Hey, Ian, you guys, my mom's on the phone and knows something about the song Gabe was referring to.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if she knows how to mute herself or not.
Great, jump in, quick.
Mom? Okay, I'll have to send it to you guys by text. You know what else? I'll send it to you guys by text. I don't know why she can't unmute herself. Sorry about that.
It is she. Well, this is precisely where the information has to be sought. Ask your mom.
Would it be, so instead of, if it were in Seminole, it could say, instead of this maybe the last time, I don't know, it could say Ana sabe, right? Or Ana no.
I don't know. Yeah, I do somewhere in here. This current version, the version that you are now welcome to print out and staple up for your own use. I do start to dig at a few people who have tried to represent Seminole speech, and it is pretty atrocious. Let me see if I can find it in here. Yeah, it's right at the back, and yeah, it's gonna be. You still there? Have I lost you?
Oh, we're here.
Oh,
We're here, we're here.
my screen has disappeared. Anyway, I think this is probably time to wrap up. But looking through, since you can still hear me, I gave a couple of examples. Surprisingly, even for, yeah, here we go. If we look on page 81, which is probably 83. I'm going to try and get the screen back here. Oh no, my screen is just frozen up. I can see, oh, okay, here we go. You don't especially have to go there right away, Wendy, but if you do, you go to my page 82. Are we still recording?
Yes, we are.
Good, okay.
So let's see, you said page 82.
Yeah, and it may be 84. But
Oh, there it goes. Okay, so you said maybe 84.
We getting there. Okay.
I think this is it there.
Okay, there, 84. Now, for some reason, this person included two little verses. They look like songs or poems in Seminole speech, this Evans person. But it is not Seminole, it is minstrel talk. And we also have, surprisingly, Porter, who wrote the book about Seminoles and who told me he never encountered a separate language when he, during the 30 years that he was coming to Brackett. And so he wrote a whole text in what he figured was Seminole, and it is horrible. It really is Amos and Andy, Uncle Remus. And I just, people are so driven to lean towards stereotype because, first of all, it's easier. It's lazy to rely on stereotypes because you just go with what's already out there. But here are examples. Since we were talking about verses, there's a couple of verses. But here also on page 84, 85 are examples of people trying to represent Afro-Seminole Creole, and obviously they weren't hearing that. And this is something that Creolists, not so much Creolists, but outsiders going to places where Creoles are spoken, Creole speakers talking to white people will adjust their speech to English or French or whatever the power language is. And they'll be making mistakes, but those visitors will be assuming that what they're hearing is the Creole. It's not the Creole, it is Creole speakers trying to speak English or trying to speak French or Portuguese or Spanish or whatever it is. It's not the Creole. But then what these visitors are recording gets into their books. And so you get stuff like this going into print and going into the record. And it's not accurate. Okay. If you can get actual songs in Seminole language and not English, wouldn't that be fantastic?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was actually something that they discussed during the symposium that they had, was that they were having difficulty translating, because I haven't really sat down and like listened to the songs to say, okay, this sounds more Afro-Seminole Creole, but there are two women, and actually they're part of SISCA. They're our treasurer and our board member. So they said that they were translating the songs from Afro-Seminole Creole to English to Spanish, because even in the, even if it is a more Americanized form of ASC, it was still an advanced form of English than what the Spanish speaking singers could understand. So they were translating the songs and actually it's a group of children that are learning these songs. So they were translating them to English so that the children could understand what they were singing in Spanish.
Oh, there's so much work to be done here, and there's very little time left
Yeah.
to get this information. Oh, well.
And, we did have one more question.
Uh-huh.
Let me see, it was in the chat. How much difference is there between ASC and Gullah?
Not a whole lot. First of all, ASC is like Gullah used to be 100, 150 years ago. But it has fewer African words than Gullah does. It has more Spanish and First Nations words in it than Gullah does. And it has a lot of grammar in it that Gullah used to have, but no longer has. Because Gullah is being swamped by English now in a way that Seminole isn't, because Seminole is on its last legs and it has pretty much been shielded from too much English, given, first of all, Nacimiento, but also bracket. It's not the same as the Sea Islands and the coastal Carolina and Georgia and northern Florida, where people are building condos and golf courses and just swamping that part of the country. But if you read the old Gullah texts from the late 1800s, they are very, very close to Afro-Seminole. When I went with some of y'all to Atlanta years ago to meet Gullah Geechee folk for the first time after 130 years of separation, afterwards I asked some of the people I went with, what did you think about the way they spoke? And they said, well, it sounded like they were speaking Seminole, but not getting it quite right. And I suspect that if you had asked the Gullah Geechee folks, what did you think about the way the Seminoles spoke, they would have said exactly the same thing. They're speaking Gullah, but it doesn't quite sound right. But what do you expect after all those years? All right, I can go.
Well, as always, thank you, Dr. Ian. And thank you to everybody who was on the Zoom.
We'll see you next month.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Yes.
Yes,
you.
thank
Bye-bye.
you so
Thank you, Wendy.
much.
Bye-bye.
Oh, and I thought it was Amadou. It's Armento. Good to see you.
Is he
Good
there?
to see you too.
I just saw the A and M, and I thought it was Amadou Masali. So no, that just shows you how much I need glasses.
Yes.
All right, take care.
You too. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.